And as the Russian and Western finance ministers in one room there amid tension, the one-year anniversary of the invasion was marked by the West announcing fresh sanctions. However, India and China were amongst the countries who abstained from a resolution moved against the Russia invasion. Here's a video released by the Ukrainian president.
A year after Russian tanks rolled into Ukraine in a war that's caused untold misery to millions, India continued its principled position of not voting against Russia at the UN General Assembly. But the language used by India's permanent representative in explaining New Delhi's position was sharper and more critical of Russia than in the past.
Reports of attacks on civilians and civilian infrastructure are also deeply concerning.
While reiterating that this cannot be an era of wars, India's ambassador said the resolution fell short of answering key questions. The most important, are we anywhere near a possible solution acceptable to both sides?
While we take note of the stated objectives of today's resolution, given its inherent limitations in reaching our desired goal of securing lasting peace, we are constrained to abstain.
India's decision to abstain will come as disappointment for Kiev. Earlier this week, the head of Ukraine's president's office had called the National Security Advisor Ajit Doval, specifically asking India to vote in favor of the resolution. India's engagement with Russia over the last year has been two-pronged. While both the Prime Minister and the National Security Advisor have reached out to President Putin to end the war, India has defied the West by importing Russian oil in India's national interest, a position that key European partners have now begun to accept.
India buying oil from Russia is none of our business, basically. That's something that the Indian government decides, and as you get it at a very, very low price, I cannot blame the Indian government to buy it.
As the world's largest democracy and president of the G20, India likely have a key role over the next year in finding a peace plan that works for both sides. While the contours of such a plan may not have been defined, Ukraine has repeatedly reached out to Prime Minister Modi to use his connect with the Russian president to try and end the war. Vishnu Shom for NDTV.